The only way to beat them this week, and you kind of hit the nail on the head, Adam, is to make all of those options not an option. Get to Brady before he can even look at the second guy. You can't just trust that man-to-man coverage. It has to be a scheme that eliminates that man-to-man void. You know what I mean? All right, let's go down pat episode 5. We got a lot to talk about today. We have one of the worst Pats losses in recent memory. And then the weird thing is we're talking so negatively about that game, but now we have one of the most anticipated Patriots games of all time coming up. Adam, Jake, how we doing today?
Hanging in there. Just a rainy Tuesday after Pat's loss. Usually not the best recipe for happiness, but, looking forward to another week. Got some good topics. Staying away from as much sports talk as possible this week. There's a lot of horrible headlines for these guys to fill for the next 7 days or whatever, 5 days. So staying away from as much of the Brady Belichick take I can take. All I can take, it's just somebody gets a little.
Well, you're not going to be able to stay away from it today. We're talking it today.
That's true. I got to talk about it.
Yeah, Adam, how you doing?
I'm good. I think I've watched that Adele NBC video for the Patriots and Tom about 5 times today. Makes me sad every time.
Are you the opposite? Adam can't get enough of it.
No. It's like one of those things where this is gonna sound weird. When the Patriots win and they're doing well, you're trying to you're listening to Boston sports radio. And it's everyone talks highly of it, and it's fuel. Then I feel like I have to put myself through the misery and listen when they get blown out like this too. So I can be I'm not a fair weather fan. I can handle it both ways.
Jake.
Yeah,
wow.
No. I'm not saying that about Jake. I'm not.
You just did.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I'm not listening. I think it's wise to stay away from the media. I will say, the national guys, I think might even be worse than the local guys this week, and that's what's really concerning. Usually, the national people will talk relatively high. The Patriots have won 6 Super Bowls in their lifetime, and during those 6 Super Bowl runs, you can listen to daytime sports radio, and you'd think the team was a 7-9 team when they've won 12. But then the national guys usually talk highly. And then this week it's I feel like the local people are being more realistic, where the national guys are they're dancing on Bill's grave already.
Well,
they've been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah, they don't have it now. They don't have to talk about. I don't know about you guys, but I stay away from watching ESPN for a long time in the morning, and recently the last couple months I've been throwing it on. And the program Get Up, which is on, I think.
I was just going to say, Get Up ESPN, only talking about the Patriots Bucs today.
No, I'm not even kidding you, for 3 straight months, this was their segments. Aaron Rodgers feud, Cowboys season preview, and will Justin Fields start week 1? And they literally, I'm not kidding you, talked about the same exact 3 things to start off every single episode for 3 straight months, and they had nothing else to talk about. So they're dying for anything to talk about right now, because I swear the producers are we got to run it back. Aaron Rodgers feud, Dallas Cowboys preview, what's their season? I swear I heard their record talk for the Cowboys 500 times. It's insane. They have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to say, going into this NFL season, I feel the big draft chatter in April was all about the rookie quarterbacks. You got 5 first-round rookie quarterbacks, and they're 1-9 through, and the one win, Mac Jones, was against another rookie quarterback, and Zach Wilson. So by default, they had to at least have 1 win. So it's been a pretty tough showing for this rookie quarterback class. Yeah. And that was a big chatter for the NFL season. Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. Now everyone, they want freaking Trey Lance to start when Jimmy G is playing well. I think it's so ridiculous. If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, you got to be kidding me. This is
sick. Trey Lance in the same play as Taysom Hill has got to start now. What is that like?
He runs a 1-yard touchdown run, and everyone's starting to pick it out. Jimmy G, he's 24 days a starter. Now he's or now I guess it's 20. That was before the year. So what is he now? 26-9, something like that.
Yeah, something really good.
Poor guy. All he does is win games, and they're already trying to have this guy who's clearly not ready. Trey Lance might have been the least ready of all of them. Of the 5,
speaking of not ready, did you see Fields at all?
Yeah,
everyone was giving the Bears a hard time for not starting.
It's he's not competing with Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, but everyone nationally was Justin Fields needs to start week 1, or the Bears are trying to lose the season, and they throw him out there. It's That kid is not even close to being ready. Like, not even close.
That's what I mean. I think that's because he had Andy Dalton as his competition. Like,
yeah,
Jimmy
no,
Garoppolo is so
like,
much different.
And Nick Foles.
Nick
Nick Foles should be starting for that team. Like, it makes no sense to me how Nick Foles is not. As far as like this year winning, like Nick Foles can get it done this year. But that team's. I don't even look at Justin. Matt Nagy is so bad at his job.
He is bad.
He's
makes you appreciate at least as much as we rag on the Patriots, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in this episode. It makes you at least appreciate the fact that we don't have a Matt Nagy as our head coach.
100%.
All right, we got 5 minutes talking of not talking about this game or the
yeah.
Bucs, which shows you how much we don't want to talk about whatsoever.
I know.
Any more into Matt Nagy?
Should we end it now? Should we end the episode now?
All right, let's jump into some things. Let's start with our Survivor pool that we have going on, even though it's not Survivor pool, but I'll share screen right now. Adam was the only one to catch the dub.
I got screwed.
Week. So congrats to Adam there. Adam won with the Panthers. I took the Steelers, and I thought that I was just taking an absolute lock. They got smoked by Cincy. And then, Jake, you took the Dolphins, caught an L, meaning Adam is now 3-0, and we are at risk of buying him a steak dinner right now. We have to change that this week. So, Jake, let's start with your pick coming up this week. You notice how I just went right to our next week's picks instead of letting Adam take a victory lap?
I love that.
Smart.
I'm going to go, and this is going to contradict everything I'm going to say in this episode.
Are you sticking with underdogs? Does that say your thing? Or now that
yeah.
You are? Let's go.
I'm going to do it for one more week, and then if it doesn't catch fire there, then I might have to, I'm not going to just automatically give Adam a steak dinner here. So I might,
right. What do we got?
switch up the strategy. But, I don't know. This goes against everything. My head says horrible pick, but my heart says I'm picking the Pats this week, baby.
Oh my God, I did it. He did it.
Wow. What a jinx.
Whoa.
All right. I mean, I don't hate it. I kind of like that, but I feel like you're just, I don't know. There's better games on the board.
He wants to buy me this dinner.
He wants it. All right, I'll go next because I don't have much to say about mine. I need to get bouncing back on a win here. I'm going to roll with one of my my more favorite teams, the NFL, led by Derrick Henry. I'm going to go Titans this week over the Jets. Again, not a really sexy pick, but I can't lose 2 weeks in a row. Adam,
I hope the Jets catch fire this week. I'm
going to go with the least sexy pick probably this week, the 17-point favorite, Buffalo Bills. I'm just basically betting against Davis Mills the last couple weeks. I think it's a good strategy. The Texans. I'll just keep riding against those teams.
Yeah, I mean,
I get screwed last week, guys. I think the Dolphins should have won that game.
They should have won that game. They kind of fell apart in that second quarter. I don't know. They were up 14-0.
Yeah, something like that. And then overtime.
Yeah, they
had a couple chances overtime.
14-2 at the end of one. Then it was kind of no looking back from there. But then again, that fourth quarter, they kind of made it a ball game to overtime.
Yeah.
It's all right, Jake. You'll bounce back. Adam's gonna be buying one of us a steak dinner. That's what I'm hoping for. But all right, guys. Let's just briefly let's gloss over last week. Let's do that, and then we can talk about this upcoming week. We can get into Brady, Belichick, blah blah blah. But let's get what we need to be said off of last week. But I think that this show should definitely be more of a the anticipation type game. Unless you guys disagree, but let's throw it out there because that was just one of the worst games I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I slightly disagree. Honestly, I think we gotta take our medicine. We gotta go through this game because I want to get to Brady.
Yeah,
I want to get to the Bucs.
People listening or watching are thinking exactly what you and Jake just spent 10 minutes starting the show talking about.
No, but I don't want to talk about the X's and O's and what happened on the game. I more want to talk about the bigger picture. Jake, I saw you you tweeted this, and I thought it was a great tweet. It was watching. I think you said something watching Kansas City. Watching the Rams, watching the Cowboys, watching the Bucs, watching the Niners, and what they do in offense is you're watching a different league, a different sport than what the Patriots are doing in offense. What are the Patriots doing in offense? It's genuinely the most concern. One, their defense has been bad. I don't know what's good on this team right now. I feel the best player right now, I would say, is who's getting the most shit right now, is Mac Jones. Nationally, I keep saying people shitting on Mac Jones. Are you watching the game? Guy doesn't have a chance. He's doing the best that he can. I don't know what quarterback could possibly be doing better than Mac Jones right now with the Patriots. Outside of yes, Tom Brady would probably maybe be 2-1 right now. Congrats. We don't have him anymore. But Mac Jones as a rookie is playing a very good rookie quarterback right now. It is not his fault. What happened on Sunday was not on him. And then you finally get a little momentum. and this is skipping to like basically the fourth quarter, those 2 draws to Brandon Bolden. What the fuck, Josh McDaniels, dude? I wanted him gone then. Like we've wanted his head, but like I guess this is circle back. You watch the Niners play, the Chiefs. You always have someone in motion. They are playing fast on offense. They're finding ways to get. We bring in Nelson Aguilar, who's like a speed guy, getting him the ball. Also, like Johnny Smith maybe had the worst game of his life on Sunday, and I just don't know
anyone's life.
Yeah,
no, but I'm saying, like, I don't know what is it about like when these guys come to this team and all of a sudden they like lose their powers and they forget how to play the game. Like, is it an atmosphere thing? I feel like we are putting Johnny Smith in a position to succeed like he did in Tennessee last year, yet he's like got the yips all of a sudden. What happened? Like I look at that as like a coaching thing, because this is like what I'll say. This is my to put a cap on this. The biggest worry I have about the game on Sunday is that if I looked at the Patriots and the Saints, these 2 teams that were out there, on paper, like talent-wise, I would say the Patriots are a better team talent-wise than the Saints, right? That's how I feel. I think we have more talent than they do on this team. Yet we just got blown out. So you have to go to coaching. And through our lifetimes, the Patriots have won a lot of games on Sunday when they've been the lesser team talent-wise because they've outcoached the other team. I look at Sunday, I'm like, they just got pantsed. They're doing things that we never see a block punt. We don't see guys kick the ball out of the end zone. We're coming in this podcast and saying what an idiot these other teams are. And now that is our team that we're rooting for. And I'm like, the coaching has been bad from all levels. So
they had 10 men on the field in that last touchdown play. 10 men. Like, that is something we would be like,
it's not a penalty.
Congrats, Colts. Congrats. Like, that's like something literally we'd be making fun
We're
of.
the Jets right now.
It's unbelievable.
Isn't that true? No, but you play against Zach Wilson, you're like, oh my God, that dude stinks. And I'm not saying that it was Mac's fault Sunday, but then you watch his sort of performance, you're like, oh, well, that's him. Like, that was him 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? The ways.
I don't agree. Honestly, the box score did Mac such an injustice on that game.
That's all I mean. I'm not saying what you saw. I'm saying that you look at the outcome of those.
The
stats.
Rookie
quarterback. It's like, you don't think any other quarterback could have done what Mac Jones did last week? It's the exact same thing. I don't think that it's the same. I don't think that Mac Jones is running around throwing picks. He was getting hit as he's throwing a pick. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing.
His best play of that game was that throw to Johnny Smith on the sideline. I mean, that was an absolute dime. He escapes pressure. No, it wasn't third down. It was
the two DNs like collided with each other, and then he got
and he throws an absolute. I mean, that honestly was the worst drop in my opinion. That was right in his breadbasket. Like, you can't make a better throw. You're getting paid X amount of dollars. You got to make that catch. Like, that was, and so like, what does Mac Jones supposed to do there? Like, Patrick Mahomes makes the same play, and everyone's that's tweeted 1,000 times on Twitter. Everyone's crapping their pants about Mahomes. Mac Jones does it, and it's like doesn't show up in the box score at all. No one's going to talk about it, but that was an unbelievable throw. And then the Johnny Smith one they dropped for the pick six, like that actually like is exactly the play that he was brought in here for. Like a drag across the middle, 1-on-1 with a defender. Like that's the one he's supposed to break and turn into 20 yards. And we can't post in the clip so we won't get copyrighted again. But
which is we posted a 3-second
unbelievable.
And YouTube's like, yeah, no, you can't do that. We own that. It's like, no kidding, you own that. How about the 40 other minutes that we had of this podcast? You okay with that?
Yeah, insane. But Mike Girardi pointed out, so people want to check out his Twitter, but Johnny Smith was doing this weird thing where he shuffles his feet when he's supposed to catch the ball. And he did it last week. Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, we had a former teammate in high school, I won't name his name, but he would, before he'd catch the ball, go. It was like a little
yips. By the time the ball would get there, he was already on
his face mask. So he's doing that move, but with his feet, he's shuffling last second, and it's like that is a classic. Like he's thinking too much about something because you're almost like reverting back to not being natural anymore, right? You're not being a natural athlete. So like, what's in his head that he's thinking like? But that's a simple play right across the middle, like bang bang.
Wait, how about the next drive where there was like I think it was the next drive.
Yes,
they threw a tight end screen to him. Literally went through his hands and like hit him in the chest.
Exactly. That's the play too. Like
I was like, dude, literally, he actually lost his power. She doesn't know how to play anymore.
It's unbelievable.
So Adam, you were getting at it though. Where you asked the question, but do you have any sort of like a start to the answer? Like, why is that the case? Why does and not just Jonnu Smith? He's just the most recent example. Why does he come here and it's like I can't play now? Does he feel pressure from Bill?
I will say this, like. The thing that I find a little jarring about the money we spent in the offseason is he gave Nelson Aguilar $13 million. I forget how much money they gave Kendrick Bourne. Anybody know off the top of their head? I don't think
No, but I can look
Jake
it
will
up.
get it. Keep going.
Yeah. Regardless, you brought these 2 wide receivers in. Yeah, we still really our number 1 wide receiver is a 7th round ex quarterback from NC State, Jacoby Myers, who I like. Jacoby Myers. I said earlier in this, but we don't. If you're looking at Mac Jones, who just came here from Alabama, when you had Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, like John Mechie, like now you're throwing to these guys. I don't know. We don't have a clear wide receiver 1. You could argue we don't have a wide receiver 2. The tight ends that we brought in that were supposed to be good. Hunter Henry he looks slow. Johnny Smith can't catch the ball. Like now you have James White who's out. The rookie running back who looked good all preseason long has been inactive. Sony Michel's in Los Angeles. And I'm like, and Damian Harris is like looks banged up. And he's not getting like run. Like
he can't block. He cannot block.
Not to like say the sky is falling, but I'm like looking at like who Mac Jones has to offer. And then on top of all this, where all these guys seem like they're out of sorts, Mac Jones has 2 seconds to get rid of the ball, or else he's getting smushed.
Which is supposed to be a strength heading into the season. Like we thought that was going to be, if there's one thing or 2 things that's going to be good, the line, the defense. All of a sudden you come in now and it's like he literally like they're getting to the quarterback faster than I think I've seen in I don't even know how many years. And
also you can't say it's just Trent Brown because like Isaiah Wynn on the other end is getting burned too. So it's like, and even like Shaq Mason, like they're getting burned everywhere, like up the middle, like Shaq Mason, you're an all-pro guard. What's going on with him? Like I feel like I don't know if it's like a residual effect. I don't really know that much about offensive line play. I know like you want continuity, but you got one guy who went down and all of a sudden
continuity.
And even
that's a hell of a word. Continuity.
That's
but I kind of like it. I'm in on continuity.
Is that a law school word?
I really just dropped the ball there. But I don't want to be like coming here and say, I Johnny'd it. I don't want to come here and just be like the sky's falling because we started 1-2. But I'm not looking at it as 1-2. I'm looking at it now as really like 8-11 because I'm going back to last year. And even if you want to go back further and with how Brady's season ended the year before, where they like fell apart in November. I think I saw the last 25 Patriots regular season games, including going back to Brady, they're 10-15. This is not like a recent thing. And I get you have a rookie quarterback, but Jameis Winston's not the problem. Jameis Winston's
he's not the problem. He's not the problem.
We played Tua. So we played Tua. We played Zach Wilson, and then we played Jameis. We thought coming into the season we should start be 3-0 heading to this Bucs game, which we chalked up as a loss. At worst, 2-1. Now that it's 1-2 going into this Bucs team who's coming off a loss, where it's like Brady looking locked in as ever. I don't know if you're like following what he's saying, but he's like treating it like any other game. He looks like a man possessed. We know what he's going to do on Sunday. Our defense actually is going to have to play well, which they really haven't done against mediocre talent thus far. We just played a Saints team without Michael Thomas where we only had to stop Alvin Kamara, and we didn't stop Alvin Kamara. It's not looking good for this like coaching staff, and I don't know how you stop. Like I think the whole team right now, including the punter, other than the kicker, the team stinks.
It only took him 17 minutes to bring up special teams. Let me say this though, Adam, because you know me asking you like, hey, what is it about the coaching? Why are these guys performing like that? Because it's 2 things. Obviously, Bill's the GM too, right? He spends all this money. He's not these guys aren't worth the money as of right now. But my thing is, and I think I said this a couple episodes ago when we were talking about it, it's like you can't slow play your scheme and whatnot. All of a sudden, they're at week 4 now, one of the biggest anticipated games of the year, and it's like, oh, well, we haven't opened up the playbook. That's such BS. Like, you should have opened up the playbook when you were smacking the Jets. Like, try some things and whatnot. This team now, if they're going to try and pull some stuff out of their ass against Tampa Bay, it's going to be a stomping because you can't even run a drag route with Jonnu Smith right now. No way he's going to be able to pull a hook and ladder or a flea flicker or any BS like that. Not that I want like these trick plays to come out, but now we're at a point where it's like, oh yeah, we were slow playing. We were trying to, walk into this playbook. It's like, well, now you're about to be a quarter of the way into the season and you're kind of sitting there being like, oh, well, what is our offense? We don't even have a scheme really.
I don't even need sorry, Jake. This is like you don't even need to open up the playbook like a trick play. Like watch what Dallas did with Tony Pollard and like Ezekiel Elliott. Just get your speed guys and have a little motion. We play so slow.
No motion at all.
So, like, Jake, you talk about this. You're a good football mind, but
it's insane. And here's where I'm gonna say that I was personally wrong too. I thought I think I said maybe even episode 1 like. This offense was built perfectly for a rookie quarterback, like 2 tight ends, running back, like play action. He's not going to have to do much passing wise. And I think McDaniels and Belichick thought the same. But honestly, this offense was built for Cam Newton. Like everything that they've done so far, success wise, has been when they go back to the Alabama offense, which is spread it out, like 5 wide, get Mac Jones out quick. Like that's when they move the ball. Hurry up offense, like quick things, like get motion. And it's like, are they just swallowing their pride right now and saying, well, we spent all this money in these tight ends. We spent all this money to form this offense. Like we have to go back. They constantly go back to it. And every time they go back to that offense that they built, the offense slows down. They get stuffed. They're not good enough to do that right now. So bite the bullet, suck up your pride, admit that the guys you signed right now aren't good enough to win this. And they're not good enough. This formation's not good enough. You got to do what's good for Mac Jones because he's the guy going forward. It doesn't matter. Spread it out. Like, stop all of a sudden dialing it back in the red zone, being, oh, well, we got to get back to our 2 tight end set with the fullback, and it's not working. It hasn't worked, and it's not going to work against the Bucs that are great. Have a great run defense. You're gonna have to spread it out with them. You're gonna have to get the ball quick, and you honestly should be in almost a 2-minute hurry up offense for most of the game. Like that's when they move the ball. That's when they've been effective. And so you got to look at McDaniels needs to take a gut check here and look at the other coordinators that we mentioned around the league and say, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Because he's not doing it. And he's building an offense like it's back in 2009. It's not. It's 2021. All these coordinators are adapting. You got to adapt. You have a rookie quarterback who killed it at Alabama with this type of offense. You got to adapt to it in the league, or else it's sink or swim, McDaniels. Like this is your last shot. You're not getting a head coaching job after this. You're not.
It's crazy because you have always been like a Josh McDaniels naysayer. I know that sounds corny, but how true have you been? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how right have you been now looking at this? Like, even when the Patriots offense looked good, like, I don't know, a few years ago, you'd be one that didn't like the 3rd and 12 draw and whatnot. It's like, oh, no kidding. We just don't want to turn it over. We'll punt it, whatever. It's a throwaway play. But now it's like you're looking at this and you're like, that play doesn't even that's not even a play that you would run in Madden if you didn't care. How are you doing that on the field of, with all these new signees, rookie quarterback? It's like, do you really think that that's good enough to roll out there against, not let alone like a bad NFL team, just like any NFL team? That's not a play that, and no plays in particular, but it's like you're running these screens, the 2 draws it was 2, right? To Bolden.
Back to back when you got to the 11-yard line. Down
so predictable too. The screens sometimes are so predictable. Like that one he got killed. I think it was Taylor that got killed on a screen that was like everyone saw it coming. Like it was unbelievable. But like that drive with the 2 Bolden draws was unbelievable. Yeah. It's like you're moving the ball down the field. You're down 21-3. You took, I think it was 8 minutes off the clock, 7 minutes off the clock on a drive. Like you got to punch it in with a pass, like right there. Like what is that? You're two draws in a row and kick a field goal. Like that is not winning formula. That's not a winning football. Like.
I'm pretty sure
this is losing. It might be losing formula.
It's losing football.
It's not not winning. It's losing.
I'm pretty sure through 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure about this. Mac Jones hasn't attempted a ball into the end zone in 3 weeks.
Oh my god!
Like incomplete, or he hasn't thrown the ball past. Like he's thrown short of the stick. Like Nelson Aguilar ran in, and Kendrick Bourne ran in, but he hasn't actually thrown the ball into the end zone yet, which is concerning because he can do that, but. I don't know.
See, that's not a Mac Jones problem. That's so just like. What are you talking about? You're not even going to give the guy an all end zones type of play in the red zone and let him throw it through the back of the end zone if he doesn't see what he likes. Like, do they have zero trust in Mac Jones? Like, what could the realistic answer be to this? Why? But yet,
there's zero trust. But yet, he throws 51 times in week 3. Yeah, like that makes it's backwards logic, right? Like, either stick to the game plan and you're capping him at 23 passes a game, or if you're really going to have him throw 51 times, open it up. Like going in between is how you get this guy killed. 51 times with no process of how you're going to get to 51 throws. Just have him drop back, get hit 11 times in the fucking game or whatever. Sorry for my language, but that's not a process.
This is the vibe I've gotten. This is what I got last year when they had Cam Newton, and I think it's even worse this year. It's like if the Patriots offense, they have like it on their bull board. It's like this is how the game's going to go. We're going to stop them on. We're going to defer. We're going to get the ball back. Or hopefully we go up 7-0. We're going to stop them on D. Then we're going to start running clock. Hopefully get a field goal, go up 10-0, and then just run the ball. And the whole second half, we're just going to play conservative, try to keep it 2 scores the whole game. Don't take any chances. And then like, yo, Josh, our defense isn't playing that well. Our offensive line's doing bad. We're not scoring in the first quarter ever. So we fall behind like we did against the Dolphins. Now it's like, all right, we're not going to run the ball anymore. Mac Jones throw 50 times. Against the Jets, you saw what they did in the second half. Just ran the ball. Like, I feel like if this team, if they're ever trailing, God forbid by 2 scores too, which we saw this game, they have no clue what to do. Like, they don't have a play. Like, they don't have a formation to come back from 10 points. Which in this modern day, in this year, in 2021, where you can come back from 21 points with a quarterback and a decent like you can do that, especially with the amount of time that they had. But when I saw that they were down, even like the Saints, let's not forget how bad this game was. The Saints missed 2 field goals too. Like, the score is not even doing this justice. Like, they kept you in the game in the first half. The fact, I think, what were they down? 14-3 at the end of the first half. It should not have been 14-3. And then you threw the pick 6 to end the game, but it should have been worse to begin with. And when it was 14-3 at the end of the first half and they were coming and got the ball, I was watching the game with my father, and we were like, how the hell are we going to score points? Like, that was like this team, even when we get to the red zone, like, we can move the ball in the 20s, then we give the ball to Brandon Bolden, of all people. If on Sunday night, with Collinsworth and Al Michaels calling this game, if Brandon Bolden gets a red zone carry, oh my God, like, Josh McDaniels, don't come back to the facility. Brandon Bolden he's a special teams guy. He's Ramondre Stevenson, who scored 6 touchdowns in 3 games in the preseason. Put him in the freaking game. Like, he can actually run the ball.
I don't want to drag him Bolden too much because he's a good guy or whatever, and he's a good player. we're trying to get Brandon Bolden on this podcast. We're trying to get him on the podcast.
Be our guest, yeah.
Did we not say that in like week 1? I'm trying to suck up to him a little bit. All right, you can cut that off and you can cut that segment and say
he's a great guy. He's a great special teams player. He doesn't want 2 draws
now,
on the 11-yard line.
Having said that, that was one of the worst runs I've ever seen at the professional level in my entire life. It's 3rd and 1, dude. Either fly around the corner and try to get on the edge, which probably wasn't happening with Cam Jordan, or cut up the field, stick your head down, and drive for a yard. The dancing in the backfield, half jog, whatever it was, and then slowly turning his back. It was like a half spin, his back into D lineman. It was like any one of us could have done that run. Like, any one of us could have done that run. Like, that was like, dude, have you ever run the football before? It's 3rd and 1. That was the worst effort. Like, that right there, if I started as a coach and like, that guy will never get another carry for me on the team. Like, that is just not NFL running.
That was like in Madden when you're trying to like spin out of a guy, but you're like caught in the animation. They're already tackling you. So
it's already.
Josh McDaniels is going to be that meme when, I think it's a Jets player in real life, but it's that video of someone trying to like get into the facility. That's literally going to be Josh McDaniels. It's like they removed his access because I can't. If he rolls out and does, forget it's even one more week, right? If he rolls out this sort of same game plan, this same sort of, say Bolden 2 draws in a row, right? Against now in this big game where literally this is gonna break like, game like ratings records and whatnot. It's gonna be like all of a sudden you're seeing Josh McDaniels calling a play like that. He's gonna get national attention, national eyeballs. If he does that, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, okay, I get it. Week 3 against the Saints, you're going to have a shitty game plan? Okay, fine. But this is one where you have to look at everything you've done this year and be like, I don't think I can do that. Like, there's got to be some sort of, I hear the talk about this, and I at least can't fall into that trap again. Because now every eyeball is going to be on this game. And the Colts are going to be happy that Josh McDaniels turned down that head coach job. Like, they're going to be like,
they're already happy.
They probably are. But all right, let's start transitioning into that game because Adam, you won the war here. I said I didn't want to talk about last week. We talked about last week, to say the least. Where do we see this? I'm going to start with Jake because let's not forget, as much as we're ragging on this team, Jake just picked the Pats in the survivor pool. So, Jake, why'd you pick that?
Like I said, also, my head already told me it's a horrible pick.
Jake is only thinking when we do those picks, Jake's only thinking about the bragging rights on the other side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the actual record, but he's like, I want to be able to take the victory lap. All right, what do we think? What do we think coming up on against Tampa Bay?
Like as Pats fans, we've seen this team like be in bad spots before. We've seen them count dead hundreds of times. It feels like, and they've done a great job historically bouncing back. Like just when we think they're done, like we thought that the dynasty was over
Did
against
they
the Chiefs
bounce
team.
back, or did the quarterback that they're playing Sunday bounce back?
Well, that's what we have to see,
Hello
right?
from the other side. Yeah.
Oh, you hit it. You hit it well.
We're gonna get copyrighted now. God damn,
Yeah.
Adam.
Damn, Adam.
Miami State or Adele.
Adele. Shout out Adele. But you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, I mean, does Belichick have something up his sleeve? Like Trent Brown coming back, does that fix the offense? Right? All of a sudden, they don't have Durant or Huron at right
It'll
tackle, and
definitely help.
not a sieve. Maybe they trust that Mac Jones won't get hit as much, and I don't know, right? Like whatever. But I think you can't count them out yet until after this week. And if they show a lackluster performance in this game, in this environment, at home against Brady, then it's time to say maybe this team is like the 2009 Patriots, where they're a bunch of dogs and they don't care.
That's why it's so hard for me though, because it's like, for that example, they could have been 3-0 heading into this game, and I think I've even said on the show, would have been okay with like a stomping type loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now that same reality could ring true, but they're at a point where it's like, oh, well, now everything that came before it is going to impact our decision. So it's like I'm caught in between two different worlds here. It's like I already expected this loss. I expect Tom Brady to shove it to them. Like I don't think there's any like truth to it's just a coincidence that his dad's speaking out or Guerrero speaks out. Like I'm totally in on the idea that, you know, this is just another game for Tom Brady. If you think that, you're probably an idiot. But all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now the Patriots lost 2 bad games. They really only won a game where it was the Jets. Like, who cares? And now they're going to go and probably lose to the Bucs. And it's like, oh, well, now let's sound the fire alarms. It's like I was already expecting a loss here. So it just sucks that what they did beforehand is going to impact this. Kind of like what you just said, Jake. Like, now it's going to be an issue if they lose this game. I already thought they were going to lose this game.
Their schedule, just looking at it, like, it gets pretty tough coming up. Like,
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, like if you lose this game, like you're kind of in a really hard spot after that.
I also think we have to set the stage a little bit. I saw today another stat. Since 2000, this is the first time that Bill Belichick has started 0-2 in Foxborough. If they lose this game, they're starting 0-3 at home in a place that's deemed difficult to play in Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. And I know it's not cold yet, so I get that's where the advantage comes. But we're used to growing up where Brady didn't lose in Foxborough. Brady didn't lose in Gillette. That's his place. And we're talking about not only for Bill, this is a personal game. Like, not only this is the defending champion team in the Bucs who just brought their whole team back, but it's also the quarterback that you basically chose to move on from. Let's not get it twisted. You didn't want to pay.
And the tight end that didn't want to play for you clearly, and the wide receiver that you cut for whatever. Like,
so this is a personal match, and I will say the Bucs are a much better team. So I'm not saying if the Bucs win that I should be like, oh, Bill Belichick got pants. But if you get blown out at home by this guy who's 44, who you said was done years ago when you drafted Jimmy G, and you said we all know Tom's age and contract association or contract situation, which was 7 years ago now. I don't know, man. This is one where, and also me, Evan, Jake, we've been watching Tom Brady our whole lives. We know how to give Brady trouble. You get pressure on the guy with 4 linemen, and you play man, and you get pressure up front. And I will say one thing that we haven't given the Patriots any credit for their offseason signings. There's one guy that they hit on, and that's Matt Judon. Guy's a freaking force.
He just isn't getting the credit he deserves because how bad.
No, he isn't. But I circle him.
Good.
But I'm saying I circle him today because he's for this game. Like, he's who you got to circle. He's the guy who's got to win. Because if you got to get pressure on Brady to beat Brady, that is how you beat Brady. That's how the Rams just did it with Aaron Donald. And we
Patriots.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't have Aaron Donald, so we need Matt Judon to play. And they play different positions, but we're going to need Matt Judon to put that kind of game. And we're going to need J.C. Jackson to do his Jalen Ramsey impersonation. And then hopefully somehow our offense could do something that Sean McVay did, which we've seen nothing. So we shouldn't think that. But in order to keep the game,
fortunately, their secondary stinks right now. The Bucs secondary.
But my thing is, like, this game, if after this start going 0-2 at home, really we haven't beaten the team yet. I don't count the Jets might go 0-6 or 0-17. Probably not. They'll probably get one in the way. But let's not act like the Patriots are really 1-2. They're 0-2 with an asterisk. Like, that's how I put it. They didn't even play well in that game. So I'm saying this game, I don't expect them to win. I expect them to cover. I think it's a 6-point spread. everyone is talking about how Brady's going to come into Foxborough and embarrass the Patriots. Everybody's on the Bucs. I do think they're a better team, but Bill, you know this guy better than anybody. You literally are the one who brought him up. You're the one who drafted him. You're the one who kept him as a 6th-round pick when you had other quarterbacks. Not to say that's like play revisionist history, but he was originally Bill's baby, and now you gotta. I don't know. You just can't get pantsed on Sunday Night Football. They're talking Super Bowl numbers this Sunday game. You're talking about people paying $15,000. It's like a $15,000 ticket to sit behind the Bucs bench, not the Patriots bench, because everyone wants to sit behind Tom Brady. That's the most expensive ticket in the house this weekend. I saw was right there, like front 50-yard line behind the Bucs bench. You cannot get embarrassed this Sunday night. You can lose, you cannot get embarrassed. That's my take from this. You got to keep it close.
I totally agree with you. I just, based on what we've seen, I don't even know how they do that. You know what I mean? Like, I agree. You can't do that. You don't want that to happen. You have to avoid that at all costs. But the team that I just watched weeks 1, 2, and 3 are going to get pantsed. Hell, their pants are half off for Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't even have to pull them all the way down. Like, I so hope that's not the case, but it's not going to be hard for Tom Brady to pants the Patriots based on how they've been playing.
I mean, the way they've been coaching, all you can hope is that they've just, because I don't even bring up, like, after that 3rd and 1 with Brandon Bolden, where it was the worst run you ever seen, what'd they do? Did they line up to go for it and went false start? Isn't that how it happened? Yeah. You're talking about they kicked the ball to bounds. They had a punt blocked. They threw a pick 6 coming out of halftime. And on 4th and 1, when they were finally going to go for it, the first, like, an unconservative play call of the season, they got a false start. And that's like they kick or punt? You're talking about one of the worst coached games. And on top of that, like, they didn't block anybody. Like, the way they coached against the Saints was embarrassing. And every one of their coaches should be embarrassed. So the only thing I can hope for is that they just didn't do any game film and just have been prepping for the Bucs the last 2 weeks. That's the only thing I can hope for. Because if they just, like, because I could see that.
Which is definitely not the case.
Yeah, no, but I like the spin. I like the
spin. But it's like, they better be looking.
I'd be really concerned if they didn't watch any Saints film.
Yeah, that's like worse, actually. It's like, wait, yeah, we're not even.
But we're talking about this game. I know, but this is like the Super Bowl right now, and that's not even hyperbole. This is gonna do those numbers. This is unprecedented in sports. We've never seen what we're gonna see on Sunday night. But we've never seen an athlete like Tom Brady, and we've never seen an athlete leave, go win a Super Bowl. Now he's coming back at 44, pitching an MVP season through 3 weeks. Like, this is nuts.
No signs of stopping either. It's like
and now he's talking about playing at 50, like he's a man possessed. And when on the press conference, I'm hoping he's saying like, oh, it's gonna be nostalgic. No, he's like, oh, it's not. He's like, there's no time for nostalgia. I'm living in the present. It's like any game. I know these fans. I know how it smells. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's locked in. Like, they should be afraid of him. Like, they gotta get him down. Like, Matt Judon, you need 4 sacks or else we're in trouble.
And where do we stand on the what does he need for the
68 yards or something.
68
yards. Okay, and he's gonna set another record, the only one he doesn't have.
In the first quarter, probably, honestly.
In the first drive of the game, probably.
If it's to Gronk too, that's probably even worse, right? Yeah.
It's gotta be a Gronk.
Worst case scenario in this game is, right, if Brady comes out, throws 5 touchdown passes in a row, and Mac Jones struggles, like, Belichick's gonna get booed, right? Like, they're gonna boo. That might be. They
might boo Belichick before the game even starts.
I know.
Like, I don't think, like, also, I have to say, like, this is, like, not a rant. I keep saying on Twitter, like, if you're a Patriots fan and you boo Brady, like, you shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. I haven't seen one Patriots fan ever say something negative about Tom Brady. Like, what is this narrative all of a sudden being spun, like, nationally? I think that's, like,
I've heard some people say it, but it's not the majority. Like, I've heard people be like, oh, he left, screw him. It's like, yeah, but 98% of people still, like, love him. You know what I mean?
I will say this. I'm not rooting for Brady this year. I was rooting for him last year. I'm not rooting for him this year.
I'm not even like. I mean, I'm rooting for the Patriots this week. But if Tom Brady goes out there and I'm not like.
The more that comes out about it, and the situation develops. It's like, I know, how can you hate it? Do you think? I'll ask you guys this. Do you think Gronk's coming back with any emotions? Because I feel like that's a storyline under the radar. The guy retired because he didn't want to play for the Patriots.
They traded him. They also traded him to the Lions.
So what's
they
his
tried
emotion?
Yeah.
No, he threatened retirement, and he told that story. I think.
Yeah, I didn't forget about that.
Belichick's such a dink on that, right? Like, now the tight end position's been haunting them ever since. They've had horrible tight end play since Gronk
And Gronk
left.
looks like because we justified his retirement and him coming back, and he really didn't light it up until like the end of the year last year, right? For Tampa Bay, it's like, oh well, his body, he might be only X years old, but his body has suffered, blah blah blah. He looks like a fresh kitten. I don't even know if that's a saying.
That hit he took last week though was freaking big. He took a big hit on Sunday.
Yeah.
That looks like it hurt. I don't know if he's coming in here 100%. Like,
well, that was the same hit that Earl Thomas had against him years ago that knocked him out for a few weeks, right? With the rib or lung or whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the worst, if Gronk and Brady just go off on them, like couple touchdowns, the Gronk spike in the end zone, like it's a horrible situation for Mac Jones too. Like really is. Like that kid. I think the media coverage of Mac Jones has been so unfair. But I'll say this: through 3 weeks of the season, we're so down on this team. I'm high on Mac Jones. Like, I don't feel like, and that's one positive I'll say from the first few weeks. If you think this team stinks because of Mac Jones, like I don't think you're paying attention. I think Mac Jones. I've watched all of the rookie quarterbacks play. Mac Jones by far looks the most ready right now. Like nobody. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has dealt a pretty bad hand to Jacksonville, but he has been making some. He has not looked good. He's making a couple good throws, but he looks kind of how Zach Wilson looked. Like he's just throwing the ball up. Mac Jones at least looks like he understands what he's supposed to do. And then they're putting, like last week, he was just put in such a bad spot.
Yeah.
On top of having no offensive line. But when they did, the one drive when that ended in those like Brandon Bolden runs, when they did protect him, like he had a couple big plays. I don't know.
You can win a lot of games with the way Mac Jones is playing quarterback if everyone else is not stinking around him like they have.
Patriots did that with Brady's first. I don't want to say the first like dynasty because he did start to turn it on. But you look at like at least his first season when he started to obviously like turn the corner. It's like that Mac Jones is doing no less or no more.
Well, I personally think he's doing really no less than Jimmy G.
No, Jimmy G would be one. Jimmy G would be 1 and 2 as well.
Yep. I don't think he's doing any worse than Jimmy G. And you see, I think Adam brought up earlier the 49ers win loss record with Jimmy G and that coaching staff and that offense and those guys around him.
To the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And somehow still there's a way to like shit on Jimmy G. Oh, he didn't pass the ball. It's like,
I mean, everyone wants all the quarterbacks now to just be like Mahomes and run around and throw a interception off his back foot.
1 and 2 Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy.
I will say one. You know who we're really missing this week, though? Like, Jake, I would be so much more on, like, the Patriots' potential upset. They need Stephon Gilmore this week. It is gonna – I'm, like, looking at those Bucs skill position players, and I think J.C. Jackson's having a strong year, but yikes. I don't know who's covering Chris
Gilmore on this.
I mean, Mike Evans going one-on-one's tough enough, even with J.C. Jackson, so I still feel like a mismatch. Who's covering Chris Godwin? Antonio Brown, you going to play? Who's covering Antonio Brown? Then they have 3 tight ends that they can deploy. What on top of like a couple decent running backs who can catch the ball in the backfield? Actually, and Gio Bernard actually looks good for them too. Because I don't know how they're matching up.
Yeah, they can't. They literally can't. You go name for name, they won't match up. The only way to beat them this week, and you kind of hit the nail on the head, Adam, is to make all of those options not an option. Get to Brady before he can even look at the second guy. If his first read's Chris Godwin, if you touch him or hurry him before he can get to Mike Evans, then it doesn't matter who's covering Mike Evans, So it's like you got to get there. You have to be ready for the fact that is the only way. Like if the Patriots are going in thinking, "Oh yeah, no, I'll square up against Gronk or I'll square up against Mike Evans and stuff like that." It's like that's how you're going to get beat. You can't just trust that man-to-man coverage. It has to be a scheme that eliminates that man-to-man void. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and if there was ever a game for that defense to be fired up for, it's everyone's talking about how bad the Patriots are and how good the Bucs are coming into this game, even though both are off a loss. Like if there's ever a time to be like fired up and play above your means, it's Sunday night in front of a Super Bowl media atmosphere when potentially the greatest athlete of all time, but definitely the greatest quarterback in your sport is coming into your house where it was his house. That's his house. That's not our house.
How about
so we'll see what happens.
Ready? I'll if the Patriots win, I'll shotgun live on the show. If the Patriots lose, Jake, you have to shotgun live on the show. Because I know how much you love shotguns.
Fine.
Do it.
We'll do it.
You'll do it?
Fair.
Virtual handshake?
Yeah,
and IPA? You are the witness. You can just shotgun.
No, not an IPA. Then not doing it.
You can shotgun whatever you want. Bud Light, Truly, anything.
Okay.
But all
That's
right.
fair.
Any last words heading into next week? Do we miss anything that we wanted to talk about? What do you guys think?
I think we covered a lot. I mean, I think we covered most of it. I think, I mean, it just, it really is honestly like hard to predict what's going to happen this week. It's if the Pats come out the way that
It's not that hard for me. I'm a Debbie Downer this week.
You are.
Yeah.
I just think they can give them
so
a game
not
if they come up. I like this is such a turning point in the season, and we've said this, but like if they come out and look good, play hard, no matter what, win or loss, right? And they look like a team that's like competitive. Like, all right, now we can get on a run here, right? Like that. This is a good team. Like if they come out here and lay an egg, it's like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a top 10 pick we're playing for now? Like we talk about Belichick on his way out. Like what like him getting booed and Brady going on to go to the playoffs and win another Super Bowl or whatever and kicking Belichick's butt at home, like that will be chaos. Every single call onto every single radio station will be calling for Belichick's head. So they need to come out here and play. And like this should be like the game you look back on in week 17 where they're like in the playoffs and be like, wow, like that Bucs game like turned the season around. Like the Pats turned into a team. Wow. Or we're looking back in week 17 was like, wow, it all really started like this team was never good. Like that's where we're kind of at right now with this team.
I mean, I agree completely. I feel like we're like Boston sports, we're the champion, title town, whatever. We don't believe in moral victories. This week, like I said, if we cover, I believe in a moral victory. I believe we got a rookie QB going against the GOAT. We have looked terrible through 3 weeks, like as far as what our expectations versus reality is. We thought the O-line was going to be great. We thought the running backs were going to be good. We lost our running backs, as you know, Jake. One's in LA, shouldn't be. O-lines look terrible. Rookie QB, like if Mac Jones keeps this to one score, defense underperformed. Like this is a week where I don't expect them to win, but if they can keep it close, when I know Brady's coming here and he's going to try to embarrass them. He's not coming here like with like they have, like we said, I think there is some hard feelings coming back here. If we keep it close, I look at that as a moral victory, and I will take that. And at 1-3, but just played the Super Bowl winning Bucs to a one score, I'll take that right now from what this team's at. Because if you look at their schedule that we pulled up, they could easily be at 3-3 if they stay at a 1-3. They got they got a soft landing after this week.
Texans,
and
Cowboys,
Davis
Jets
Mills,
again.
Texans. Yeah, they have a soft landing. So Cowboys look like a team, but.
Let me ask you guys this then, because like when I say that I'm a Debbie Downer this week, like I'm still in the boat of I want to see some competition, I want to see some compete out of these guys. What does a score need to be? Adam, you've kind of already said yours, like keep it to a 1-score game, 7 or less. Where is that number for you? Because to me, it's like I almost count this as a success if they lose by less than double digits. Like I'm already predicting a 10+ point win for the Bucs, and I don't want to do that, but even if it's like a 12-point game and the Patriots don't look like, and we've used this phrase a couple times, they don't look like they got pantsed, I'll still count it as like a moral partial victory. You know what I mean? So where are the score predictions here in terms of what you would like to see, treading that line of moral victory, not necessarily a victory? And then we can give our, I guess, overall score predictions afterwards. But Adam, I think you already gave yours away, but you can do it first. Like what's the point differential that you'd like to say, hey, that's a positive week?
Honestly, like I think they need to cover. So if it's 6 or 6.5, I say no. Like so 6. I think it's at 6.5 right now. I say lose by 4 points. And I also like this before. I'm excited to see Mac Jones this week because talk about a guy.
It's a make or break.
You're good. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. He's 23.
No, this is what I'll say. This is what I mean by make or break. If Mac Jones goes out there and it's okay, not break, that's not the right word, but it could make him. If he goes out there and is completely not even phazed by the moment, all of a sudden we're like, holy shit. Like this.
I don't think he will be. I don't think he will be phased for the moment.
I hope he's not. I mean, I guess so. Yeah, but make or break isn't right. But like total make, like if even if it's 40-0, but you could say just like last week in terms of like how we played against New Orleans, it's like, oh, he didn't get like, it's not his fault they lost. He wasn't phased by the moment. That's almost a moral victory to me. But the score wouldn't predict that. But all right. So Adam, you say 4 points. Jake, to make this a moral victory, what's the actual like?
I'm not going moral victory here.
Oh, that's true, Mr. Underdog pick in the pool.
I'm going full homer here. Full Mac Jones homer. Full Patriots homer. 2 minutes left in the clock. All tied up. Mac Jones gets the ball back after a stop. Goes down the field. Bang, bang, bang. Nick Folk nails it to win the game. And this is the moment, 10, 15 years from now, we look back on, we tell our friends or whatever, that was the moment we knew that.
You couldn't think of anything else. Our friends,
I was gonna say kids, but that's why the kid timeline doesn't even work anymore.
family, anything.
I was gonna say kids. That's still not.
Guy at the bar. Yeah, I remember that night.
50, 60 years from now, we look back at tell our grandkids that was the moment. We knew that Mac Jones was the next big quarterback in the NFL and big quarterback for the Patriots. He's gonna go down the field. I think have a great drive at the end of the game. All of a sudden, it's like narrative shifts, and we're talking about the guy that's the dynasty not dynasty, but the face of the franchise for the next decade. That's my prediction.
I think that obviously if that happens, that's like
that's like dream scenario,
that's
right?
Overwhelming to me to think about the fact that
that
that is so defining.
Yeah, Evan, you said
like a 5% chance of it happening. But
Evan was like worst case scenario, like Brady and Gronk go off. That's best case scenario. Also best case scenario, I need to see like Brady like yelling on the sidelines, like tossing his helmet. Byron Leftwich getting an earful like that.
Belichick like schemes up something that just throws him off, and he's like,
hoodie on, like that would be special.
Ghosts? Question mark.
She's not gonna throw a pick.
No, he might.
What's his stat line look like?
Because if you say that Brady's going to come in here and try and shove it, that's more of a reason to throw a pick than if he were to come in here and just play a normal game. You know what I mean? Like if he wants to go off.
Oh yeah, the Bucs offense too. He's averaging like I think like most yards per pass. Like that's not what he did here. But yeah, I agree. I mean,
definitely not what Mac Jones is doing either.
We talked about last week. Yeah, he's at the bottom of the league. Second to last, I think Mac Jones in that category.
You like give me air yards or whatever. Give me a double digit. Less than double digit loss, and I am all in on how confident I am on this team. You give me a 9-point loss to the Bucs, I think that's a better outcome by far than your loss to the Saints this past week. Easy, obviously.
They have the over under right now at 49.
Oh no, last week Jake said
low, right?
That Saint. It's a little low, but it's not like the Patriots score points.
Yeah,
it's like what's the team over under? Like,
do you think the Bucs are going to score 48 points? Because then I'm in.
But no, we ended last week's podcast. Like Jake, I think you said how big the Saints game was and how like you were really excited, and it was a total flop. This game, I'm going in. I was excited for the Saints game. I am terrified for this one, but I think that the result it can't be worse. Because if we do get blown out, we just got blown out by the Saints. We just got blown out by Jameis Winston. That video of Jameis Winston pre-game, by the way, one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
No, it was so funny.
Yes, sir.
Look at your teammate beside you. Oh god, it was unbelievable. But yeah, I can't be worse than last week, so I'm optimistic in that way. A win, that would be we'd be pretty excited for next Tuesday. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will see. But all right, guys, I don't think we got anything else to get to today. That was a lot of Patriots talk, but still kept it under an hour. So hopefully we kept some of you guys listening or watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. We are trying to plug along in this podcast. I know we're uploading it to a channel that is very Celtics heavy, but there's another team in town, and this team's about to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, according to Jake. So we will catch you guys in episode 6. This was episode 5 of Down Pat. It was me, Adam, and Jake, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.